story, because I've been sitting on the edge of my chair, and I'm sure when the listeners listen to this, they're going to be on the edge of their chair. Is there anything you can tell us that we're going to split our sides? Let's leave it on a good note.
Right. So as you know, Chris, every couple of years you put on a demo for all the heads of the police and from the CT. So all these commissioners and chief constables all come and sit on this big veranda with their binos and that, watching this sort of CT surgical operation unfold in front of them. And that's sort of a lesson to them that this is why the SES have got the big budget for the CT team, because we're the best at what we do. We're ninjas and abseiling through windows and kill everyone in the room and all this stuff. So I was part of this CT exercise in front of all these, chief commissioners and everything. And it was, just watching for a complete demonstration of how, the SES, speed, aggression, surprise will come in and just, move ninja-like around this thing. So we had this stronghold, and we were going to take it down in this sort of two-pronged sort of pincer move. And one was going to be a foot patrol that was going to use the dead ground, come in and then go in from one side with all the sort of DEMS charges. And the other side was a split second later, the vehicles were going to come hair racing in from another angle, and they were going to, ambush from a different side. And so all these police chief supers and everything were up watching and everything. And the guy that was leading us in, Colin, bless him, and he had the respirator on, and he was our guide into this thing. And as we went along this gully, unbeknownst to me, his respirator eyepieces had all steamed up. And he was going higher and higher up the high ground until eventually I could see the target. And I'm saying, Colin, that's the target. And he turned round and he couldn't see a thing, right? And I was like, it's down there. So we go all the way down. But this time we've probably been pinged. And so we're all lined up. And one of the guys who was infamous in our squadron, we nicknamed him Cyro. And he was just mental. But amazingly, he was in charge of our demolitions. So they give the standby, go, right? Everyone lets off their charges. And as our team gets up to go in, Cyro sets off this thing in front of everybody and knocks about 4 guys flying into the hedge, right? And now their black overalls look like a ghillie suit, just shredded, right? So everyone's like, Jesus. So then the same guy, Colin, he's got the old enforcer to put the door in. So as he goes to put it through the door, he lets go and it goes straight through the door and leaves a perfect comedy hole, right? So he goes like that. So he puts his head through the perfectly made eye hole for him, and he gets whittled up by the old terrorist the paintball, and he comes out and his respirator's just covered in paint, right? So Billy Billingham, who's now on the Channel 4 show, he goes absolutely skits. He's like, get out the way. And he goes to run and shoulder barge the door down, and he gets stuck in it, right? And the x-rays on the other side, and you can see his shoulders going, So he starts whittling away with the paint, and Billy's in the door getting whittled up. Anyway, it was chaos. Then one of the SB call signs throws a flashbang through the window, goes straight through the other window, and lands right in the middle of all the hostages and frags them. One woman's got like 50-degree burns on her inner thighs and that. It was chaos. The vehicle patrol, they weren't much better. As they took off, right, it was stand by, go, and they went flying off. 2 guys fell off the back of the C-tap as they were coming in, and were trying to run after the patrol, right, in full view of all these, like, police chief supers. And then as they get there, they open the door, and one of the guys runs into the open door and knocks himself out, right? It was absolutely chaos. And everybody goes back, right, and we're all sort of like this, yeah, that's how you do it. And sometimes you just have one of those comedy moments, and you've just got to go, do you know what? It'll work on the day.
Yeah. Colin MacLachlan, that was absolute a pleasure, and it was great.
Life or Death with Chris Ryan.